Pit and Paddock Racing Show for episode 22, where we're doing another remote undercover show. I'm coming live from the Penske Tech Room, and everything is totally above board. No need to look around any further.
And I'm coming to you from the Cadillac F1 facility, formerly Andretti Formula One. I'm in an unused private suite that I found. I don't know who it belongs to, but it said Epstein on the door.
Uh, you're going to want to clean your fingerprints off everything and get out immediately.
I'm sure, I'm sure nobody's coming in here.
No, no one will ever look. Well, NASCAR went to Mexico, and it wasn't for cheap surgery or smuggling rifles for the ATF. It was the Viva La Mexico 250, where SVG turned pole position into a gold medal. Christopher Bell pulled in the silver, and Bill Elliott Jr. got himself the bronze.
I want to back up a little bit to the X/Bush League race where Mexican driver Suarez went from last to first. Did I get that right?
Yeah, he crashed his car in qualifying, so they went to a backup, and he started 39th, and then on a road course went all the way to first. Pretty impressive. You know what they should do is give him a home race every race, and maybe he'll get more than like one win a season.
Good for him.
It was a good drive. Onto the Cup race highlights. We were at what, three whole laps into the race, and they were onto the wets.
I was happy to see that.
Yeah, except for Cedric and Busher, who thought they could stay out on the slicks. Great call. This is just dropped like a rock.
Ask Lando Norris how well that worked out.
Yeah. Oh man. I
uh,
saw him do it, and I'm like, what? No, it's not just gonna stop raining.
uh, you know what? Watching NASCAR on a road course on wets feels like slow motion.
It really does, and you can see the car move everywhere whenever they put the throttle down too. I like watching it. It's pretty cool.
I'm glad they didn't have track limits on what was it, turn four, where they're all going off around the outside.
Oh yeah, that was they only had it on that one S's section, but they put a big tire barrier there, so it wasn't an issue.
I noticed little Ty Gibbs was started P4. That was how'd that happen?
Little Ty's pretty good on the road courses.
Maybe he should move down to IndyCar.
He still needs to work on his ovals.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, on to lap seven, where it was your Kyle Busch expected crash of the race early this time. He took out Kyle Larson and AJ Allmendinger, two of the other favorites to win.
He wasn't even on slicks, was he?
No, he just locked the rear brakes up, and he he passed like three cars sliding into the turn.
It did make me think of a pinball machine.
Oh man, I'm like, man, Kyle, every single race, bud, you need to calm it down. Um, that was pretty much it for, well, on to stage one when Ryan Preece held off for the win. Not super exciting, but it was fun watching the stock cars on the wets.
Oh, you know what? By the way, I want to give a shout out to Amazon commentator Danielle Trotta
Trotta.
for keeping the show family friendly and putting her nips away this time. She opted instead for a chain necklace that she apparently took from a lowrider steering wheel.
Oh, oh, I'm sure they have those in Mexico.
Yeah.
Stage two played out pretty similar. Everyone, most of the contenders pitted, and SVG stayed out through the stage expecting rain, which did end up working out in the end.
Little Ty slipped down to P15 and I didn't see what happened to him.
I think it was his tires started to wear out when the track was drying a little bit, so he kind of slipped a bit, and then not a great pit stop.
Poor little Ty.
I think he was car was probably the only car just as good as SVG. That's rough. And then I think he had some contact too. I'm not positive on how. I forget. Uh,
I kind of dozed off for a little bit. So
was that during the 20-second lead?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, even before the lead, 36 to go, Carson Hocevar spins himself out to get a yellow and miraculously refires the car once the yellow comes out. Good for him. Strange coincidence.
Kosovar had an interesting race.
That was,
Uh,
he did.
I liked 28 to go. Herps gets spun by Lucky Lord Byron and drifts down and or goes to restart, cuts in front of Ricky Stenhouse. It was just a tough day for Ricky.
That was when he gets spun. That was in the stadium section, and he's just pulls out in front of everyone.
Yeah.
He's lucky to get sideswiped.
Oh, he's like a retired snowbird driver coming out of Circle K.
I
They
think
don't care. They just pull right out in front of
he had his left turn signal on the whole race too.
you.
Uh, well, with 16 laps to go, Kyle Larson sets the fast lap and gets an extra point, all while being 39 laps down.
Good
So
job.
not a total loss. And then was 11 to go. Hocevar meets up with his good friend Ricky Stenhouse again from previous weeks, such as Nashville last week, and he spins him out.
That's when Hosey becomes BFFs with Ricky Sten.
Yeah,
Sure, they're going to be having lunch together all the time now.
that was like everyone saw that, like, ooh, rough move.
The commentator, oh, who'd he hit? I hope it's not Stenhouse. Oh,
Uh,
it's Stenhouse.
and they were secretly excited.
Yes,
Uh,
they were.
After that, pretty much the SVG show, he pulled away and ended up winning by a little over 17 seconds.
Oh, just like Formula One.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I will say it makes me realize that we need more wet weather stock car racing. It's more entertaining to watch.
Hey, my boy Cold Custard ended up in the top 10, shockingly.
Not bad. I didn't
Yeah,
know he was that great on the road courses.
yeah, good for it's it's more of skill versus setup.
Probably just not crashing the whole race is what
Yeah, that helps too.
keeps you in the top 10.
Uh, back to the hosts of our Ricky Sten Love Fest. I did like the post race where Stenhouse sticks his head in his new BFF host of ours window for a nice little chat.
Most of ours probably singing Ricky Don't Lose That Number.
I'm wondering is Ricky going to get in trouble with his Fun Pop sponsor for that?
I
Because
don't
that
know.
doesn't look very Fun Pops.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, we all liked it.
I think the in-car camera said that, or you could hear him say, "I'm gonna beat your ass" on there. But I think he said, "Once we get back to the States, I'm gonna beat your ass after because you don't want to get in that Mexican jail trouble."
Didn't Ricky punch one of the Bush brothers a few years back for $75,000?
Yeah, that was the All-Star race. He was that picture of him waiting by the holler with his shorts on, just waiting for the race to be over.
Well, if I'm gonna jump somebody, I'm not gonna wear shorts. What's he thinking?
I don't know. You better watch out now, though. Everyone knows to look out for his fighting shorts when he puts those on. Oh.
All right, let's do best and worst NASCAR paint schemes for the Mexican 250.
I'll start my good paint scheme was I'm going to jump down to the Xfinity series for this one. Chris Wright ran a John Player special throwback that looked pretty cool. I think I'm always going to vote for that scheme if I see it out there.
I like that scheme. I went with Ricky Sten in the number 47 Fun Pops car because I don't know, it just gives you kind of a happy feeling. I, I like I like to pop some fun, and I like the fun pops.
Hmm. Have some fun popping Carson Hocevar, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of fun pop. I'm gonna fun pop your face. I think that's what he might have said.
He should have. He should have threw a sponsor plug into his yell while he was yelling at him. Uh, my least favorite paints game was Ross Chastain's Frosty Acid Trip from Wendy's. That was kind of a mess.
He tried that one before, didn't
He probably did. I probably picked it again too. I really not really a fan.
he? Um, my worst scheme, I went with Bubba in the number 23 Chumba Casino. I don't know. It just felt kind of racist, half black driver in the Chumba car. I don't know what Chumba means, but it just felt racist.
That seems fair.
Yeah. In other news, NASCAR had to alter its schedule for the Mexico race after several teams experienced aircraft problems. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard immediately took credit for the issues.
I know it
They
was
must have they must have heard there were Israelis on the plane.
they should have been looking for IndyCar.
Yeah. Wrong
Um,
series.
um, I think SVG, Ryan Blaney, Noah Gragson, and a few other drivers I know all had pre-race stomach issues while they were in Mexico. I was absolutely shocked to hear something like that would happen while you're in
Wow.
Mexico.
Did they forget to drink the bottled water?
I Somebody drank the water or ate the food or something. Weird how that always happens.
You think they would have been one of like the first things they tell you? Don't drink the water. Don't drink the bottled water. Bring your own bottled water.
Yeah. Don't eat the food. Bring your own food.
Yeah.
Don't eat food on the street.
Well, Carson Hocevar was fined $50,000 by his own team for saying Mexico was a shithole on the live stream. He was also later fined for saying that water is wet and fish can swim.
I thought that was like, oops, shouldn't have said that. You're gonna
uh,
get in trouble. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. Yeah, that's where they're racing, trying to sell tickets. Don't
even
offend the
Trump,
fan.
even Trump caught fire for that one. Well, but now he's going to be like the enemy of all the Mexican fans, so they'll all be rooting for Stenhouse to give him some fun pops.
Fun Pop is the new term for that.
It should just be his nickname, Ricky Fun Pop.
Well, coming up next for NASCAR, they're going to Pocono for the thank God it's not 500, 400.
Is that the triangle track?
Yeah, that race was a bit of a slog at 500 miles, I can remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I didn't. I like the track. I don't like driving it. On the video
Oh,
game. That's a hard track.
with each turn being so different.
Yeah, you would think we'd get a lot more crashes than we do.
No, it gets kind of strung out. Such a big track.
Wait, and they're not doing restrictor plates, are they?
No, the turns aren't banked enough to do that.
That might make it more interesting. Or like a special wing package or something to bunch them up.
I think it's just
Formula One went to Canada for a race that was as exciting as watching maple syrup dry. But Mercedes finally had a big day with Russell number one for his first win this year. Max was second, and Kimi Antonelli third, his first ever F1 podium.
maybe the race was boring, but Italian guy was there.
I love Italian guy.
Yeah, it's finally a race where McLaren doesn't dominate, but another race where P1 wins in qualifying.
It was good to see McLaren fall behind. I don't know what their Canada problem was. They're just, I mean, that's a very technical track, and I think the McLaren is just not set up for that many different scenarios.
That's, it must be it. I don't. It seems like a years they've never quite been there at Canada.
Yeah. I thought, well, Ferrari looked like they had a chance at pole, but we'll get into that later. I didn't think it would be McLaren that would be the dominant team or Mercedes that would dominate there, but they were good.
Yeah, even no, both of them. The rookie did a great
Yes.
job too.
Well, for race highlights, sadly, we had a drama-free start with Russell and Max together on the front row. I mean, come on. Everybody wanted to see Max do something stupid and get banned from his home race.
That's what I thought he might just do it on purpose. I,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
come on,
Like
Max, really lunge it in there into turn one.
he just the you know what, Russell got a good start and Max wasn't catching up to him.
Yeah, Russell got it right at the start, and that was pretty much the race. Right up maybe till the end when the two McLarens started to fight it out for fourth.
Yeah, that was the best.
Pastry survived that one with a very poor decision by Lando, who tried to move him with a collapsible wing, apparently. That's not a good front bumper, Lando.
You got to wonder if McLaren's going to change their papaya rules at this point because Lando is easily the faster car. They either needed to tell Pastry to let him pass or tell Lando to just hold and get the points. But Lando might have had a shot at catching up to the other Mercedes.
It could have got there maybe, but I, Oscar wasn't going to get by him. He was seemed to be slowing down a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
if Lando could like wait another turn or two without ramming into the back of his teammate, he could have got
Oh,
onto the podium.
the in-car camera shows you that there was just nothing. It wasn't like a Lance Stroll, I'm going to drift over on you. There was just no way he's getting through there.
I'm like, yeah, because he started drifting left on the track, and it's like the track ends, so he just continues at speed instead of braking. Unless you're going to go on the grass, which is an even worse idea.
Well, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc both earned a new nickname, the Choke Brothers, after their qualification fails. Yee, that was awful.
Uh,
Um,
no, that was not good. Leclerc complained that he was impeded by dirty air from Haji, and it's a good thing that Formula One will be solving dirty air next year with their new eco-friendly schedule. So we
oh
won't have
yeah,
to worry about dirty air at all.
yeah. It doesn't pollute at all flying all these airplanes with Formula One teams and cars on them halfway across the globe.
Net zero, Formula One.
Especially after they got rid of military flyovers because global warming.
Now it's just whatever passenger jet company pays the most money to fly over, I guess. I was Qatar Airways and
Not India Airlines though.
oh no,
We're not going to fly any of those over the track.
keep those back.
Yeah, that was Leclerc. I don't know if he had dirty air. I think he just got a little psyched coming up on Haji. But Norris, on the other hand, was impeded by Norris.
Oh, he seems to be his biggest competitor this
Yeah,
season.
it's the fifth time this year that Lando Norris had to battle against Lando Norris.
I wonder how many points Lando Norris has beat out Lando Norris by. He probably
We,
could have another like 30 points.
yeah, we needed a chart. Um, we had a another master class from Ferrari on how to not do race strategy. They started so Leclerc started out of position because of his screwed up qualifying. So they started him on hards when the rest of the field's on mediums, thinking, all right, he'll go long. And then he did go long, and they brought him in and they put hards back on. What is that strategy?
Uh, they put in Hamilton in perfect time to release him into traffic and lose 8 seconds also.
Oh yeah, they have computer programs showing where he's going to come out. They put him right into a bunch of traffic.
They usually pit so you get into clean air, but uh, and
You
then
got to wonder. You got to wonder
they
if Lewis is sitting around going, "Oh God, what did I do?"
then he probably looks at his bank account and goes like, I have some championships. Did they just ignore Leclerc when they uh what did he say? Like, we're going to plan C, and he's like, I think we should do plan B, and they're like, copy plan B, and then just completely ignored him and did zero.
Yeah. What? Why am I on hearts? Oh, we're doing Plan C.
No, but
Okay.
yeah, oh, okay. Why did you ask me? Maybe they should listen to him because it really hasn't worked out for him.
Yeah, it worked out good when they listened to Carlos Sainz. Um, it was a sad day for Canada as Canadian and reverse DEI driver Lance Stroll magically recovered from his wrist injury in time to run his home race, where he qualified P17, only 11 positions behind his teammate Alonso.
And I believe he also finished P17, the last car on the track.
Oh, another great equity story for the world.
Good, good job, Lance. This is probably going to be your last season.
We keep wondering if his father's finally going to take him out. When you're 11 positions behind your teammate consistently,
They
he's like
definitely will if he sells his portion of the team.
he's a bigger joke than Maldonado,
Oh,
and that was
that's rough. My favorite quote of the race was from Alonso when they asked him to back it off a bit, I think, and he's like, "We are racing, not testing."
Alonso's good for some quotes.
Um,
Um, well, Yuki Tsunoda finished an expected P12 in the cursed car. He started out with a 10 place grid spot penalty for passing someone under the red flag in practice. I don't know. 10 spots, does that seem a little harsh?
I I think just keeping him in the second Red Bull is a big enough penalty. I don't think they need to add that on
Yeah,
top of it.
no kidding.
Uh, then the race had a safety car ending, which is always kind of lame. I don't know. Where's my green white checker? NASCAR Unlimited finishes.
Yeah, why don't they do that?
If
Villeneuve was right for once saying they should have red flagged the race and let him restart.
Yeah, come on, give Max a chance to dive bomb something.
Yeah, that would have been a lot more interesting. Oh, and because of Ferrari's wonderful strategy calls, Mercedes jumped them for second place behind McLaren, but they're still way behind McLaren.
Yeah, I don't think. I think the top two are shaping up pretty easily now. Brad Pitt's new F1 movie, brilliantly titled F1, the movie, will debut in Europe before the United States because Trump has now slapped a tariff on fantasy films.
Yeah, fantasy's right. What's more unbelievable? A startup team that can be competitive in F1 or Brad Pitt's 62-year-old driver that can be competitive in F1?
Neither? Well, according to Lewis Hamilton, it's the greatest F1 film ever. Uh, Lewis is also a producer and investor in the film, so that makes
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
sense.
After Formula One driver Norris crashed out of the Canadian Grand Prix, former Mercedes driver Nico Rosberg warned him not to fall into a mental spiral. Norris told him not to worry, he'd already made an appointment with Dr. Dre or Dr. Joe Biden. I'm not sure, one of those.
Excellent doctors, both of them.
Yeah, exactly. They'll fix him right up.
Uh, Under a lot of pressure from fans and Italian media, the Ferrari team boss, Fred Vasseur, says that Ferrari has changed all but one thing in an effort to win.
What was it? Their socialist economy?
I, I guess not. I don't. Apparently, it wasn't enough to win.
Yeah. What is the one thing they haven't changed? The leadership?
Ter
Like
ter
not.
Commitment to terrible strategy?
Yeah. Ferrari engines? What? I don't know. I don't know what they didn't. Formula One will take a week-long break before heading to Austria for the "We didn't really want to be Nazis" Grand Prix.
IndyCar was in Illinois for the Tom Bombadillo 400, where Captain Kirkwood wins two in a row. Pato finished second and a shocking third for Rasputin.
That is a shocking third. How did Rasputin suddenly decide he could drive?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe he's about to lose his job.
Yeah, that'll put some fire under you. The other thing is, why is it on Sunday night? I've never seen a Sunday night race.
I don't know. And maybe Fox thought it would get more viewers Sunday night instead of Saturday. It
I
did
mean,
well.
they have Saturday night races all the time in the summer.
Yeah. I I feel like TV is cutting back on the night races too. There's not as many as there used to be.
Yeah.
Hmm. I liked it. It didn't overlap with all the other races on, so that was nice.
Yeah, if anybody's going to move so that you can watch NASCAR, it should be IndyCar.
They probably figured that out when their ratings dropped when they're on the same time.
One of the changes that Fox brought.
Yeah. Well, the race started with debris on the track due to the massive explosions on the backstretch, but I'm going to say it's totally worth it. That was kind of
Those were
awesome.
those were pretty cool. Even the commentator said, I can feel it shaking from over here."
The driver's saying the same thing. It's like I can feel that in the seat.
Good job, Illinois.
Well, under the race, uh, Devlin DeFrancesco got his day started by crashing on lap 4. That was nice.
Well done.
And Connor Daly, the oval master, apparently was up 9 positions by lap 10. It's pretty impressive.
Uh, yeah, I didn't know Connor could drive either.
In a Hukos Hollinger car, not also, which is not top of the line.
That is how spec series are supposed to work. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be about, setup engineering.
you would think that sometimes, but it's mostly about cheating.
Yeah, only if you're Penske, which it was a disaster day for Penske. Will Plower, who started on pole, lasted a whole 47 laps before plowing the wall. And then Penske was down to two cars.
We'll start with 2 cars. Lap 51, everyone made a pit stop after that caution, and Rasputin's car caught on fire after a rioter thought he was working for the police, apparently. It went out quickly, though, once he got up to speed.
Wasn't a very good Molotov cocktail.
No, it was bad work.
It was your typical oval race until lap 139 when Foster, involved in another crash, drifted down in front of Newgarden, giving us a spectacular Dukes of Hazzard scene. And then Penske was down to one car.
Did it freeze frame? Them Penske boys are up to no good again.
Yeah. You
Um,
need the
uh,
Waylon Jennings guitar, like dome dome.
that was a good thing they got the halo and the screen, whatever it is.
Oh, the sparks flying from the Halo
Yeah.
cam. That was pretty good.
Uh, then about lap 78, how is Graham Rahal 3 laps down already? This where we're like halfway through the race. 3 laps down. Great job, guys.
Okay. 56 to go, and Sneaky Scott Dixon fuel saved his way to first place. Like, where did he come from?
I don't know. I get up and go to the bathroom for 5 seconds, and suddenly Scott Dixon's gone from 15th to first. That some sort of miracle work again every time with the fuel strategy.
Then he dropped to fourth after a slow final pit stop. Too bad.
Well, still a great improvement over how he was running all day.
Yeah.
37 to go. Scotty Max car finally breaks down, bringing the Penske car count to 0. What a
Oh,
rough day. Rough day.
the Karma 400.
Mm, yeah.
At the end, I thought we might get a garbage win after Dr. Rosen, and Ilott stayed out. But both of them ran out of fuel with just a few laps to go, and then Captain Kirk cruised to his second win in a row.
Yeah, apparently we're not allowed to have any new winners in IndyCar this season. We just get 2.
Pablo and Captain Kirk, which Pablo finished. I think he was in the top 10, but at least he didn't win again.
I think he got lapped at some point too, I remember. Not a great car, but if he finishes top 10 in all the oval races, he's still going to win the championship.
It was a bad day for the legacy drivers because Herta P17, Ray Hall P22, like I can see Graham not doing so well, but Herta's usually doing pretty good.
Yeah, Rahal was just a moving chicane all day, and I I think around the second stint of the race, Ferrucci and Herta were just banging wheels for about an entire lap. I'm like, there is some rubbing in IndyCar if you pay attention.
I like Robin and IndyCar.
Formula One car would have just shattered into a million pieces if that happened, though.
I mean, overall, it was a good race. There's plenty of action, good strategy, some crashes, a really weird shaped track.
That almost like a phoenix shape, but a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was one of the better short oval races they've had in quite a while, and the best by far with the hybrid unit.
Yeah, if they're not going to give us any 2.5 mile races other than Indy, I guess this one was decent.
I think what they need to do is do the daylight to dark race where it starts in the daylight and, such a drastic change kind of mixes the field up a little bit throughout the race.
So maybe you're good when the track's hot, but not when it's cold, and that gives us a little bit of an interesting race.
Yeah, a little more passing and such.
So in the Tom Bombadillo 400, why did IndyCar driver Connor Daly's car say "tired of pricks?" question mark on the side pod?
Uh, I don't know. I figured he was just sponsored by the Association of Gender Reassignment Surgeons. This is,
Oh, that sounds perfectly reasonable.
excuse me.
Otherwise, I don't get that. Tired of pricks. But
Yeah, gender reassignment. Is that not what it is? I never really looked into it.
well, IndyCar foregoes a rest week and heads straight to Road America for the XPEL Grand Prix. And I have no idea what XPEL is.
I don't know. Like your body after eating a Taco Bell? Just
I thought maybe it was like a constipation drug.
that's what it sounds like.
I know. Take Expel.
Oh,
In other news, in Iran's capital of Tehran, roads and bridges were choked with people leaving the city amid attacks from Israel. But our source on the ground says that it's actually because an OnlyFans club has opened up just outside the city.
ooh, I hear there are plenty of ankles on display there. I'm sure it's
Oh,
delightful.
that's pretty racy.
Pretty racy. Also, over the weekend was the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Ferrari pretty easily got its third win in a row. I think it's time to bring back Ford.
Yes.
So
And
someone needs to take on Ferrari, and it's only going to be Ford.
come on, Ford.
Uh, well, the weekend started off with the Penske cars cheating in qualifying. I'm absolutely shocked Penske would do something like that.
I thought they fired all the cheater guys.
Well, the IndyCar ones, I guess the WEC Penske crew needs a little bit of firing. Man, what? Somebody check that guy's taxes. Uh, Cadillac got the first pole for an American manufacturer in God knows how many years, or if ever, which they promptly lost within the first lap. So great work, everybody.
All right. In the LMP class, driver Meloa, an Italian, crashed into Forgione, another Italian. Uh, Forgione jumped out of his car and ran over to beat the crap out of Meloa's car. Forgione later said that he mistook it for an immigrations and customs enforcement car.
Oh, was he just doing a little peaceful
Yeah,
protesting out there?
peacefully protesting by beating the crap out of the car.
Oh, that's how it's done.
Yep. Hey, that's it for this week. Next week, we will maybe be back in the studio, and we have two races. F1's off next week.
Oh, and IndyCar has two races in a row. A little overworked for them, but that'll be nice.
They can hang in there.